Okay. Pamela, we are live on Facebook. Let me just make sure to check this is working. Streaming from Zoom is a little bit more complicated. Okay, we are streaming.
Great.
I am here with the lovely Pamela Burwash, who is a current student of the MRA. Pamela, you graduated from the practitioner training. Now you are a third of your way through the coach pathway, which is crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And I'm just really excited to chat with you today and to share a little bit about your journey and your transformation through this whole process and what's next for you.
Okay.
So, Pamela, let's start with what drew you to practitioner training? What was it about? Where were you at in your life that made you decide that this is what you needed?
Last year was a big tumultuous year for everybody. And coaching was something I had wanted to do for a really long time. But I had a lot of limiting beliefs around what I could and couldn't do based on where I was in my current situation.
Yeah.
Fast forward kind of January 2021, and I thought, why the heck not? Why the heck not? What do I have to lose? So I had been kind of following Mind Rebel Academy since its inception and was really curious and keen about the program. And I loved the values and what it spoke of. And so I dipped my toe in. So I committed to the practitioner training, like you had mentioned, and it was so beautiful in terms of self-discovery and really uncovering what those limiting beliefs are and really working on shedding them and stepping into that person that I am becoming or that I desire to be. And it's funny because I remember telling my husband, you know what, I'm going to try it out and I'm going to have like no expectation. And depending on how it goes will be really how I broach the next section of the coaching training. Well, I remember, it was probably the second session of practitioner. I said, this is it. I found what just like fills me up. This is exactly it. So I think maybe I was even a little bit more tentative before I touched base with you saying this is it, sign me up for coach training. But it's been such a beautiful journey. And the amount of growth and change personally that has happened since the beginning of this year is mind-blowing. So I'm super grateful for the program.
So you spoke a little bit about those limiting beliefs. And it's interesting because I think this is true for every human, but I know especially for all of the students in this program, every single one, like the commonality that every single one of us has is we all have these deep yearnings and these deep dreams inside of what like the little flutters of our heart believe could be for our life. And we all have enormous amounts of limiting beliefs, fears, scarcity, lack, all the rebel mind things that have held us back. And I do think that's true for everyone. I think everyone, has, if they orient themselves and they get still enough to listen to what those deeper dreams are brewing inside their hearts, there are fears that hold us back and limiting beliefs that hold us back. So Pamela, I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but what were some of the limiting beliefs getting in your way?
There was a lot around worthiness. And that was one that's kind of been like a common thread. And I feel like whenever I slip back into my rebel mind, and by the way, just having the language to identify what those limiting beliefs are and kind of personifying it was very like a super helpful tool for me to kind of disassociate, to be able to kind of give myself some perspective and then broach certain topics or certain subjects.
Right.
So there was a lot of worthiness there. And that's one that I'm constantly working on. And I think that's okay. Yeah. And I think the recognition of it and calling its name, like really calling it out, and make it like almost normalizing it a little bit for me has been good. And I think that allows me, like I said, to kind of gain that perspective in certain situations where I can feel it creeping. It's like, no, actually, no, I
Mm.
can do this.
Mm. I love that. I love the personification of the rebel mind has been such a powerful tool, hasn't it? To say like, oh, I know what that is. I know what
Yeah.
that like lack of worthiness or of belief in myself. That's not who I
Hmm.
really am. That's this other part of me that's trying to keep me small and safe and all the things. So what in what were you able to cultivate inside? Because what you said there is really important. You said it's still there. It's not that you have magically like swallowed some pill and all of a sudden you are
Oh,
worthy,
yeah.
right?
And wouldn't
Like
that be
it's
easy? Like that would be like,
yeah,
that's kind of the easy way out. But
yeah.
it's almost, dare I say, more fun to do the work because you prove to yourself that
Oh, I
that's not
love that.
you.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's almost like this is what life is all about,
Yeah.
right? This is like what makes like the wholeness and the full breadth of experience of life. So, moving forward anyway. So,
Hmm.
what did you have to cultivate inside to continue to to say yes to your dreams of becoming a coach, and then to also like just continue? What are you cultivating in spite of or despite of the fear that is there, or that lack of worthiness that you are, or that rebel mind being present? What is it that you're cultivating?
For me, what I know to do in order to get back to that feeling of knowing that that is not me
Hmm.
is doing all of the things that make me feel whole. So like really carving out space and like creating boundaries and really taking time for self-care that is for me. And
Yeah.
from that I've realized that I mean it's as simple as knowing like that I am worthy, that I am enough, and that sometimes recalling all of the accomplishments and all of the things and all of the life experience, it's like, oh yeah, you know what, I did do this and I did do this hard thing and I came out on the other side of it and I gained
Mhm.
perspective. And I think just making sure I feel so good through my reading and my journaling and
Yeah.
being with my loved ones and things like that that really lift me up, then I can really anchor into that belief that no, I am worthy and I am good enough just the way I am.
Mhm. We talk a lot about one of our guiding principles in the academy is this, either whether you are a practitioner of the methodology or you're a coach, of practicing exquisite self-care. And it really is like exquisite, isn't it?
It is, and it's when it slips, you feel it, for
Yes.
me at least.
Yes.
And I feel like now that, again, it's like putting language around that. And it's like, no, I know what that looks like for me. And I know what I need to be the best Pamela, the best mother, the
Mhm.
best wife, the best friend. And sometimes that means, actually, a lot of the times, it means saying no to things in order to make sure that I really honor that feeling and like sitting with myself and doing the hard work, sitting in the uncomfortable feelings, sometimes writing things out, maybe having a
Mhm.
cry,
Mhm.
and doing those things, I think actually like amplifies those qualities of that, like the authentic version of me.
Yeah. Um, Pamela, what I love about your story and your journey is that you are a young mom with young kids, and that has not stopped you from pursuing your dreams and following your passions. In fact, what I have observed of you is that it's actually fueled you. That's so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. That kind of brings
Yeah.
up a lot of the emotions. I really want to model to my kids what following your dreams looks like.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They're lucky.
Thanks. It's important. I think it's super important. And I have been in a career for my entire professional life and in one industry and doing one job. And I feel like it doesn't do what this does for me. It doesn't fill me in that way. And so, doing the best of my ability in that role now, whilst doing the coaching and being able to kind of transfer maybe some of the skills and the knowledge that I've learned, um, that I think that shows my kids, or really anyone, like if you really have a goal and a dream, you can do it. It's tough
Mm,
sometimes, and you have to say no and put in the boundaries and do the work and all that fun stuff, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
mm. I just imagine, you know, you modeling this for your kids at such a young age that this will be how they see you. They will see their mom as a woman who said yes to her dreams, said yes to herself, said yes to her boundaries, said yes to exquisite self-care to make her alignment her number one priority. And that's going to be their baseline. That will be their model of where they start from. And can you imagine, I always I think about like our future generations and how your commitment to yourself impacts it creates that ripple effect and impacts those future generations. And can you imagine where your children are starting from, just having that base model?
I think that is key, and impact, that was something that was just that I was really longing for, coupled with the dream of being coach. But I feel like what I've learned, even from the practitioner program, I've really tried to use at home. And I feel like we're now using that language as a family a bit too. And
Yeah.
so I love that that's being identified now. And, maybe saving them from some hardships, or maybe not, or giving them the perspective and the language.
Yeah.
And I think it's easier as you do it and as you practice it. And to your point that they're young and we're doing this now, it's only going to become second nature for them. And so I do feel like I've gained a different perspective as a mother by learning about more about myself,
Yeah.
and then bringing that forth, bringing my best to them, and knowing maybe when there's that boundary, maybe I need to step away,
Mm.
and really honoring that and articulating that to them and telling them why.
Mhm.
I feel like that's what we're trying to do. It's not always easy, but to your point, I think it will be super beneficial in the long
Yeah,
run.
absolutely. And giving them the language, giving them the tools, modeling what it looks like. I often want my children to see that yes, mommy has a rebel mind too.
Yeah.
And we all have these unaligned states. And how do you it's really all about naming it and shining a spotlight on it. um, and then knowing how to come back into alignment, whether we are 3 or 6 or 30 or 40 or 60, it doesn't matter, right? We all have these different internal worlds inside of us that we're all navigating, and to have these tools at such a young age is life changing.
It is. It's a wonder why it's not taught in
Hmm.
curriculum based learning. Like, it's just, to me, it's that important. And so it's like this small grassroots movement, and we're all doing this in our own lives. And like you said, it's going to create this ripple effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pamela, what is the big dream for your life? After you have done your training and you have graduated, what does the future look like for you now that you continue to say yes to yourself?
I think it's limitless.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Yeah.
I feel like I have very grand dreams, and before it was grand, and then it was like, oh no, I kind of have to hone them in. But I don't feel like I need to hone them in. I feel like I'm just going to go with it. I feel that I'm just going to keep saying yes to myself and what feels really good. I want to make an impact. I want
Mhm.
to be with the people who I love and serve. Um, and I think that this is the path that allows me to do that. And so,
Mhm.
every next step is a bit of learning and a bit of growth. And so it's hard to say exactly what that will look like. I just know that I'm very open to all of the possibility that comes beyond this.
Mm. For anyone watching this who feels very drawn to your energy and would love to learn more about coaching with you or about your journey through wanting to talk to you about this journey that you've been
Mhm.
on, how can they reach out to you?
You can find me on Instagram, Pamela Burwash. I'm pretty sure it's P Burwash is the handle.
I'll
Um,
actually add it to the link here
Perfect.
so people can
Perfect.
find you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would probably be the best bet for now. And we can connect there and just kind of start a discussion.
Yeah. Awesome. And I always love to ask this question at the end of these interviews for anyone who's finding themselves in your story, whether they want to be a coach or whether they have a different dream brewing inside their heart, and are at the same crossroads you were at when the limiting beliefs of worthiness were keeping you back and holding you down. What words of wisdom would you share with someone at that point?
I would say go inward and be still and listen. And don't be afraid to stop playing small. Like, just really, it's a big step, but taking these tiny baby steps is makes huge progress. And it doesn't have to be big, flashy steps, but just saying yes to those feelings inside one by one by one, you're going to gain momentum to do the thing.
Yeah, I love that. It's the tiny, small baby steps. It doesn't have to be these grand, massive leaps, leaps forward. It's just day by day, those little baby steps.
Yeah.
Awesome. Pamela, thank you so, 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 so
Oh,
much for sharing
thank
this
you.
with me. And again, I'm going to post your handle. If anyone is interested in reaching out to Pamela, I will post it in the comments. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon.